Assassin's Creed Valhalla was recently announced for fall 2020, and the rumors are true. With these kind of videos, I have a 4-point structure going over the setting, gameplay, story, and predictions I think will happen during the game. Luckily, we actually have a bit of news to go over, which is nice, including the dev teams working on the game. So, without further ado, let's begin. The game takes place during the Viking invasion in the 9th century. There are 7 kingdoms in the game. The main antagonist of the game is Alfred the Great. I did a little research on him and found out that Alfred was instrumental in the unification of England, and is most famous for how he handled the Viking invasion. In the beginning, he paid the Vikings to leave, and they went north to Mercia, where I think we will also go in the game. The Vikings, however, did return, and the battle began with Alfred and his army coming out on top. Guthrum, the leader of the Danish Vikings, was baptized and lived the rest of his days as a devout Christian. Alfred in real life was a beast and relied on tactics and planning to overcome the Vikings. Alfred's ability to adapt and even reform his army should play a huge role in the game. I see Alfred as an intellectual titan, and hope to God Ubisoft gives this mad lad the respect he deserves. I will dive a bit deeper into Alfred's arc a bit later in the video. We also know that the game will take place in both Norway and England. The good news is we have a lot of information regarding the gameplay aspect, so I'll list some of the more useful features in the game. We will have a Raven companion, assuming similar to that of Odyssey and Origins. It does say the Raven has new abilities. I'm predicting using the Raven to survey an army formation, or adjusting your approach depending on how they are set up. RPG elements like dialogue choices will affect the long-term outcomes, and alliances. Massive settlement systems where you can build up clans and villages. Villages will change dynamically based on the decisions that you make, which there are 3 large cities to explore: London, England, Winchester, England, and York, Norway. Supernatural Norse mythology is in the game, which probably means Norse gods and beasts that you can fight or ally with. Hunting, fishing, and recreational drinking games are in the game as well. More visceral combat. Similar to For Honor, players can bash, dismember, or decapitate foes. You can embark on big raids and even participate in castle sieges. My fanboy is showing, but by reading this, I'm hoping the game will have a similar tone to that of the Skellige Isles in The Witcher 3. There are similar features by the looks of it, plus other elements that get me excited. Like, fishing would be pretty cool. Ubisoft has described this game as the ultimate Viking fantasy. Those are big words, so hopefully they can deliver. Oh, and one more thing, and I swear I'm not making this up. We're gonna have rap battles. We don't have a lot to go on here, so I'm gonna make some predictions. During this part, if I do end up getting some things right, and end up spoiling the game, I sincerely apologize. I am pretty stupid, so I don't think that will happen, but please be warned. The story begins with you in Norway. This region will probably act as a tutorial for you to learn some skills and abilities before traveling to England. So fishing, hunting, fighting, and maybe even a rap battle or two. I'm also guessing you will say goodbye to your family in this part as well. It will give the developers a good opportunity to establish some personality with the character you play as, and maybe give a reason for you wanting to make the trip to England. Maybe resources are scarce in Norway, so you have to make the journey to secure more. Once you arrive, you begin pillaging smaller villages. Here would also be a good opportunity for your character to see a comrade commit a violent deed on a citizen. This person can act as a minor antagonist throughout the game. Anyway, things start to go well. In fact, much easier than you thought. That is until you meet Alfred. Your first encounter, you guys think he is not a threat at all. He plays meek and slightly afraid of you. He pays you money and you leave. Of course, Alfred knows his army has no chance of winning. So the funds he gave you are to buy time to reform his army. I'm going to stop with the minor predictions here, as this video is getting a bit long, and I don't want to waste your time. We still have to dive into predictions on characters anyway, so yeah, with that being said, let's move on. Let's do Alfred, your character, and maybe one other historical figure that may be in the game. I had no clue who this man was until today, but from what I've learned, I really hope they pay this man respect. In real life, Alfred stopped Guthrum and the Vikings through cunningness and his ability to adapt and reform his army. He negotiated peace and, even at one point, was betrayed and nearly killed. But he survived, regrouped, and once and for all made a final stand and beat Guthrum and converted him to Christianity. Alfred is the villain, and unfortunately I think Ubisoft will go the whole tyrant and insane route with him. Through your exploits, Alfred will begin to lose his mind and die a pitiful death. Alfred never killed Guthrum. When he was defeated, he converted to Christianity and inherited the new name Ethelstein. Who knows what would have happened if Guthrum's ships arrived? I hope Guthrum is portrayed as a charismatic man who does whatever he can to survive. Maybe like a charming coyote. He faced death multiple times at the hand of Alfred, but managed to somehow live. He even convinced Saxons to join him, so he must have had a sweet tongue. There are two routes I think Ubisoft will go with him. Either have Guthrum die at the hands of Alfred, giving your character motivations to kill him, or have Ethelstein join Alfred, and before taking Alfred on, you have to kill Ethelstein first. You are a goodish Viking. Once Alfred pays you, you take the coin and settle down in a small village in England, and live a relatively peaceful life. Then Alfred declares war on all Vikings. You flee from your residence and manage to survive with injuries. You return to see every villager, including Saxons, who lived in peace with Vikings, slaughtered. You become enraged and begin your journey to build an army of Vikings and Saxons to take your revenge on Alfred. There is a bit more that we know, but I'll dive into it quickly. The Black Flag and Origins devs are taking the lead in development. Black Flag was one of my favorite stories of the AC franchise, so I'll assume once again we can expect a great story. And I preferred Origins over Odyssey. I felt Odyssey was a bit too big and unorganized, and found it fairly difficult to scale up to an enemy. It's not bad by any sense, but I hope Valhalla is a bit more focused. Overall, what we saw has me very intrigued. The game seems to have a direction of where it wants to go, and I'm curious to see what they would do with the characters. Looking back, I cannot think of many memorable villains in the AC franchise, and maybe Alfred can finally fill that void. Ubisoft can make great villains, so there should be no excuse why they can't here. We should know more about the game on May 7th, as Microsoft has a presentation. So if you're seeing this after more info has been leaked, and I'm completely wrong on every category, I sincerely apologize for wasting your time. I would also love to know your thoughts. Think what we've seen so far is worth being excited for? Or are you still on the fence? Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you wouldn't mind liking and subscribing to my channel, it would mean a lot.